All right. I don't remember how we fucking introed this last time.
Well, last time we just kind of started, so I think we're gonna do the same thing again.
All right.
Welcome to Fifth and Ten. I'm Court.
um, 10 or Tom.
All right, and we got 1 week in the books now, and it was, I think it was better than last week. I mean, last year's like first week, there were a lot, not necessarily good games, but closer games, and the amount of fun little. I'm really glad that it didn't go to like. It wasn't the most like picture perfect or like computer predicted like week. It was very much. It was football. A lot of people were rough because it was the first week and you had no preseason basically, but it very much I like some of the upsets that we got.
All right. You want to start talking about some of the notable injuries that happened this week?
Yeah, we can do that. Like can I talk about the one that affected me the most?
Go ahead.
So yeah, Marlon Mack out for the season. And I didn't have the best reaction while in because we were like we found out like what injury it was during the game, and I'm like, yeah, he's out for the season most likely. And I had very many groans when that happened.
Well, like I saw it on my phone. I was like, oh fuck. Like you, I don't think you had said anything about it yet. I was like, yeah, you did you see anything about Marlon Mack? You're like, no.
Now you told
Like,
me, yeah.
oh, yeah, no. That's an Achilles tear. He's done for the year.
Uh,
All right, and then
uh,
the oh
that's
no,
like
go ahead.
the big one for the season because I mean, I think the rookie who came into like well we have Naheem Hines, then the rookie who came into like basically replace Naheem Hines' position was Jonathan Taylor, and he did pretty well actually. So I'm not like super. I'm not thinking this is the end of the world. I'm honestly you know what, never mind. I'll talk about the Colts later.
We'll talk about when we do the recaps.
Yeah.
And then another big injury that is affecting me is Michael Thomas with that high ankle sprain. Originally, he was saying that he was going to just try to play through it next week, but I think it was either today or like late yesterday. The Saints announced that they're going to put him on the IR for a couple of weeks just to make sure that he doesn't try to fight his way through it. So I mean, that's probably going to be, you know, 3 weeks or so until he comes back. They didn't give us a timetable yet, but I'm going to be keeping an eye on it. So they're losing a big receiver, but I mean, he didn't do much this week. I think he only had like 3 catches or something.
I think it was less. I think like him and Mike Evans, like him and
Oh
Mike
wait, no,
Evans
him and
basically
Mike
combined for
Evans.
four. They combined for 4 catches and like 19 yards.
No, Mike Evans had 3 receptions. I just checked.
Yeah. Well,
Yeah,
Michael
no,
Thomas only had the only he only had the one. I'm pretty sure.
or no. Did I say Mike Evans?
Did you say Mike? It was like the other way.
I
Mike
don't know.
Evans only had the one. Mike Evans
Mike
had the
Evans had
one.
one. Mike Evans had one. Michael Thomas had three.
I'm pretty sure
I
because
mean,
Mike
he didn't
Evans'
do
one
much
was
with it
a
though.
touchdown.
Yeah, so rough couple of weeks.
And then so we have Michael Thomas, Marlon Mack, and then George Kittle is probably the biggest name. Like aside from Michael Thomas, he's probably the biggest name that got injured.
Well,
Uh,
the thing about the George Kittle injury is he played the second half of the game, and I think that they said that he might play this week. They're not too sure, but I mean they're playing the Jets. I don't know. Like if you were Kyle Shanahan, would you play George Kittle this week?
I would really need the information on how like what his injury is like because if it's not that severe, then maybe. But like if it is if there is a very big risk in playing him, then I wouldn't do it because the Jets not look the best. They did not look the best last week, so I don't know. I would not be surprised if they benched him because I think that that's probably going to be the plan because I think they were saying it was more serious afterwards. Is that right?
It's a knee sprain.
I
He was like kind of downplaying it post game, but
no no
the
like
the word they used is they're cautiously optimistic that he'll be playing next week. So
I would assume that they're gonna. I would assume that he's gonna get limited play. That would
I
be my guess.
I would have him limited downs or just not play at all. Just suit up,
Yeah,
just don't play because I wouldn't
definitely
want
not
to
full.
risk him like actually injuring his knee.
I might need to put in a new tight end.
Yeah.
for fantasy. I have what's it called? Like because of the injury. I didn't. What's his name? I'm trying to. Jared Cook did better than George Kittle in fantasy last week, so I'm not too worried for like a week or two. Just
uh,
Le'Veon Bell.
Le'Veon Bell. Le'Veon Bell tweeted
That's
at the end of August that his hamstrings are fine. Le'Veon Bell is now on the injured reserve for 3 weeks with a hamstring injury.
Let's see. Most of these
So
most of these injuries are just like a few weeks. Like I
yeah,
don't think there's
I
really
mean,
any
with the
other.
exception of like Marlon Mack,
Yeah.
Blake Jarwin tore his ACL. He's done
Yeah.
for the year.
That's. I think we
Just
had
signed a
more.
big extension too.
I think we had more season-ending injuries before the season than during. Like in the week before week 1 than the actuality of week 1.
David Njoku is out for 3 weeks, sprained his MCL. I'm kind of mad about that.
The Browns need all they
We
need.
scored. Yeah, we really need Njoku. Chris Godwin left the
Yeah,
game with a head injury, but they haven't really said anything else yet. As
I
of
have
right
no
now,
clue
he's
about that.
playing next week. They didn't say concussion. They didn't use the C word. They just said head injury. And as
I
of
don't
right
know.
now, he's still active. So
I don't know if that's them being sneaky or if that's just the truth. Let's see
might
who
be
else.
because he walked on the field on his own. Like it wasn't like they had to go over and help him up.
I'm pretty sure it's
James
the same thing
Conner.
with James Conner, right? He's not.
Yeah, he sprained his ankle. They said that they're expecting a fast recovery, but they didn't give a timetable for anything.
Did they give one for Philip Lindsay?
Philip Lindsay, minor turf toe. He's going to be out for like a couple days. That's it.
Yeah, I again the big one this week is Marlon Mack.
I forget the exact phrasing they used, but I think it was like Mike Tomlin said, "We'll leave the lights on for James Conner in week 2."
That is the
So
exact phrasing.
okay, got it.
I don't know, but most of these the magic word was a few weeks for most of these injuries.
Yeah,
They either weren't specified or it said a few weeks. There were very few like Marlon Mack.
mhm.
I think with Marlon Mack I want to slide into talking about the Colts game. I know that's as because it's basically like the major injuries, right?
Yeah, those are all the big ones.
So I think we can talk about the actual week 1 and how how I might have shit talked the Jaguars a little too much last week.
Oh, you absolutely did. What'd you have them
Yeah,
winning? Was it 2 games or 3 games? What'd you have them winning?
two wins.
Yeah.
Um,
And Gardner
yeah,
Minshew came out and looked like some kind of some
he looked.
phenom, huh? He looked
He,
really good.
yeah, he did 95% accuracy. He had like one of the best passer ratings of the week. I'm pretty sure.
I think he's like the third highest in the league last week.
Hmm. And then I mean, so I was talking about before with Marlon Mack. Like I'm not too worried about the rushing core, the running back core, because Jonathan Taylor looked pretty good. Like coming in, Naheem Hines, he did great. Naheem Hines did pretty great last week, and but man, Philip Rivers. All right, I don't want to overreact. Okay, I don't want to we had the whole meme of like week 1 overreactions and people calling the Colts the new Chargers. You know, really hope
Mhm.
that's not. I really hope that's not true. But I mean, like if you look at every stat of Philip Rivers for the most part, like 360 passing yards, like a 78% completion rate. Uh, he had a touchdown. It's like those are all really good. And then and then the 2 picks, which were he just forces everything.
Mhm.
And part of me is like, yo, maybe we should bring in Jacoby Brissett at that point. Because I
Uh,
mean, I don't want to be that reactionary. Like Philip Rivers, like again, it's the first week. You know what I mean? And the Colts didn't get destroyed. They lost by a touchdown. You know,
mhm.
this isn't we'll talk about the Browns next, but this isn't the Browns where you get absolutely destroyed.
Oh,
I don't
you
know.
know,
Like everything looked pretty solid on the Colts except for Philip Rivers. Philip Rivers just kind of making a couple mistakes and the new kicker needing to warm up in. I literally forgot his name for a second. All right, I don't know. I'm upset at the Colts win. I mean, the Colts lost, but like, I'm more upset at all the Jaguar shit talking I did. And immediately week 1, I'm proven wrong.
Yeah, no, I
What
mean,
can
other
you think
than
of regarding this one?
Rodrigo Blankenship throwing or missing that first extra point or field goal,
Thank you.
not extra point. Other than the missed, was it a fucking field goal? Right?
It was a field goal.
Yeah, it was a field goal. Other than him missing the field goal and like Philip Rivers kind of forcing some throws, I mean, the Colts don't look like they're gonna do too rough this season. Because like you said it a couple times, you know, first week Philip Rivers, new team, like you just got to kind of get into the swing of things. But those interceptions really were avoidable throws that he just kind of ended up forcing, which was a problem that he had in I almost said San Diego, Los Angeles too. So we'll see how that goes. But the Browns, huh?
The Browns. I'm glad we were watching because we didn't watch every single. We watched the majority of football games,
I
but
think
there
there
were a
was only
couple we
like
didn't
maybe
watch.
three we didn't watch.
Well, we didn't watch Washington Eagles, which makes me sound like I'm saying the Washington Eagles, but because the football team
The
versus the
football
Eagles.
team.
We didn't watch Packers versus Vikings that much. We had it like it was one of the games we had it, but we didn't really pay attention too much. We
I
didn't
love
watch the
seeing
Bills Jets at all.
football team on box scores. There's just
Mhm.
something about it.
Yeah, so we didn't watch. Yeah, we didn't watch the Bills or Jets at all. We watched some of the Packers Vikings. We watched all the Colts Jaguars. Watched all the Browns Ravens. We watched. We didn't really watch any of the. No, we watched some of the Panthers Raiders. We watched a good amount of the Lions Bears. A good amount of the Seahawks Falcons. Good amount of the Patriots Dolphins. And yeah, we can talk about the Browns. Sorry, I'm just trying to think about which games we missed and whatnot.
No, that's fine. Court, how long would you say it took for me to utter the words "fire Kevin Stefanski"
I
in
think 30
frustration?
minutes. I think 30
30
minutes.
minutes.
Yeah.
Wasn't
You
good.
were
I didn't have a lot of fun watching that game.
you were within I can say an hour for sure. I can say 50 I can say I remember because at one point you said something about something at like the 56 minute at 156. You said like 50 it's 56 minutes into the season. I already want him fired.
Yeah,
That might not have been the
it's a
first
little
time.
it's a little reactionary. I mean, it's week one for me to be jumping to conclusions like that, but my whole life as a Browns fan, I'm just kind of used to
Being
screaming that,
reactionary.
being very reactionary. Uh, no, they played like shit.
Baker
They
Mayfield.
played terribly. I don't know how we thought that we were going. Like I wasn't expecting the Browns to win, right? I wasn't expecting the Browns to lose 38-6. They got beat down worse than they did last year. Uh, the only saving grace last year is we got double digits points, but we were also at home, so that's not saying much.
I'm
Baker
looking right
looked pretty
now.
bad.
I think Baker Mayfield out of like all the starting quarterbacks had the second lowest passer rating.
Yeah, because
With only Fitzception, which I get to call him Fitzception because 3 picks.
Baker Mayfield had like I think he only completed like 50% of his throws. It wasn't good.
He had a 53% completion rate.
That's
53%. He was 21 for 39, 189 yards, 1 touchdown, 1 interception
that's
with
embarrassing,
with
man.
a 65. Yep. But you know who's not too far? You know who's not too far above him?
Who?
Tom Brady.
Tom
You love
Brady
to see it.
bad
You
too.
love to see it.
I wish that my quarterback was doing better than Tom Brady. Nick Chubb looked fine. He's averaging like 6 yards a carry. I mean, I wish we would have got him the ball a little more. Kareem Hunt also played pretty well. It's just Baker and
That offensive line.
receivers, our offensive line.
I mean,
And
yeah,
everybody's gonna complain that he keeps forcing it to Odell, and I wouldn't really say so. I mean, in the second half, he definitely did a little more. I mean, Odell had 10 targets, 3 catches. So it's not that he's. I wouldn't complain that he's forcing it to Odell. I'm just going to complain that Odell's not catching the balls. They're just not catchable balls. Because if Odell was, catching it 10 times a game and ended up with like 100 and however many yards, like I wouldn't care. I think that's great. Instead, it's 10 targets, 3 completions, 20 yards. It's not very good. We got a lot of shit to work on. That's for sure. Hopefully it's not going to be like this all season.
I think I do think like I don't think Baker's a god awful quarterback. I really do think it's more that offensive line than him. Because if you watch like every play, he just has no time, and the pocket collapses in on him like every single play. There is just nothing for him to go with a lot of the times. That's some
So
play calling problems. There's a lot of problems, and Baker is not the best. I'm not trying to really defend him as much, but I'm just trying to say like Baker is not the core problem.
so how
He
about
didn't
that
look
fake
good though.
punt? How about that fake punt on 4th and 4 from our own 30?
Literally, Bill O'Brien. I said that so many times during that game, but I just couldn't believe that somebody did that again after we saw how it completely changed the tide of the game in the Chiefs Texans playoff match last year. And no, we're just gonna do it again. Why would you do it again? I mean, not like why would anybody do that? Guess we can talk about. Do you want to talk about a different game that we watched?
Yeah.
We can talk a little about. We can talk about. I think we can talk about the Bears Lions. You want to talk about that?
Oh, that was
Specifically
a good
the
game.
end.
That was a really good game towards the end.
Towards the end, yeah, Mitch Kissantitties for the first 3 quarters was looking like shit. He did not look the best. I mean, one of my friends, he messaged me saying like, "All right, I'm gonna watch the Cubs."
Well, I mean, if I watched that first half, I would give up too.
Because again, you said it best while we were watching the game. Detroit can't have shit.
No, absolutely not.
Oh my god! By the way, before we continue on with talking about the end of the Bears, at the end of the Bears Lions game, I want to say, you know who had a throw? You know who had a throw this week?
Hmm.
RG3.
Yep. 1 for 1, 9 yards.
Yep. I forgot about that. I just saw it while scrolling.
Yeah,
All right,
that's what happens when you're up 38-6.
Back to dude, why does it, all right, Mitch Kissantitties, he's not a good quarterback. A good quarter does not make you a good quarter does not make you
Yeah,
a
he had
good
like a
quarterback.
quarter and a half.
Like,
It was like maybe 2/3 through the end of the 3rd quarter, he started looking like a quarterback.
maybe he's just like so big brain. He's like he knows like I only need to play like a quarter and a half and I'll win. Maybe that's his plan.
You think?
Maybe because the Lions were winning for the majority of the game, Matt Stafford's like clutch powers are like neutralized. Maybe this is the big brain chest.
Imagine coming
sorry.
back 21 points unanswered against Matt Stafford. I thought he was going to pull it off. We were watching with a bunch of people who don't watch, and we had to explain that Matt Stafford just kind of like has that little
clutch
spark.
factor.
Yeah, that little like clutch factor. He almost got it.
He had it. No, he had it. It was DeAndre Swift.
Yeah,
DeAndre Swift dropped it. I mean, I didn't really care much who won that game.
You know who played a lot better than I thought he was going to?
Who?
Adrian Peterson played really well that game. He almost had like 100 yards rushing off of like 14 carries. That's a lot more production than I was expecting from him, especially like how soon before the season he got picked up.
Mm-hmm.
Because it was only like a couple of days. I don't even think he had a full week in Detroit before he was playing.
He's also just old.
Yeah. Matt Stafford played poorly.
Not the best.
24 for 42. But I mean, hey, 300 yards passing. So he had that going for him.
I might not have any rings, but dude, have you seen my stats? That's the thing, Matt Stafford. I mean, he didn't do it this game, but he usually gets most of his like great stats and whatnot in garbage time. There was no garbage time here.
There could have been garbage time if Mitch Trubisky didn't flip some kind of switch and throw 3 touchdowns.
I'm willing to blame that more on Detroit because you can't have shit in Detroit. How do you? I wasn't rooting for either team to win. Remember, I was rooting for the tie to have the repeat because last year they were up by like 21 points against the Cardinals. Cardinals came back, they brought it to overtime, and they ended with a tie. I wanted that so bad to just repeat.
You kept asking. You were like, "How do you think they're gonna tie? You think they're gonna bring it into overtime and tie
I wanted it to happen so badly. I wanted it.
It's like, I hope not.
I wanted that 0-1 so bad. Transferring games. Goddamn Russell Wilson, am I right? Russell Wilson proving why he's one of the best quarterbacks again in the league.
Oh yeah, no, they were killing it over there in not in Seattle, Monkey, over in
Atlanta.
fucking Atlanta. Thank you for getting my brain to work. No,
Falcons
Russell
didn't look
Wilson
god
played
awful
fucking.
either.
I mean, but Russell Wilson just played fantastic. I mean,
He
there's not
had
really
one of
much
the
you can do
highest
about that.
ratings. Yeah, he had 322 yards and 4 fucking touchdowns with an 88% completion rate. 31 for 35.
Really good.
He had 9.2 yards per attempt. Like, there are not that many like who can get over like the 7 or 8 like area. Like like Kirk Cousins and Jared Goff, but like Matt Ryan didn't even Matt Ryan had 450 yards.
hmm Well, I mean, that was off of like 50 fucking pass attempts. You better be throwing, or you better be getting 450, or you're gonna throw the ball that many times.
54 attempts.
God, Jesus Christ. No, like DK Metcalf had a hell of a game. Tyler Lockett.
I don't know, but there's not much else to say over that game except like,
Yeah.
hey, Russell Wilson turned into the GOAT.
No, Russell Wilson's the hell of a QB. He
I've been saying
played a really good game.
I've been saying that forever. I love Russell Wilson. He's great.
Yeah,
I've always respected Russell Wilson so much.
Yeah, he's a damn good football player.
I'd argue he's in the top 3 for quarterbacks. You know what I mean? Like, I would say it's him, Lamar, and Patty Mahomes are the 3 best quarterbacks in the league.
I probably agree with you.
I don't know, like someone would be like Deshaun Watson. I'm like, no.
Deshaun
Watson,
top
he's
5.
great. He's top 5, but no, Deshaun Watson is definitely not as good as Russell Wilson. Like, he's great. He's a great quarterback, but he's not Russell Wilson.
Piggybacking off of Mahomes and Watson, how about that game? Our season opener.
Oh yeah, I guess we forgot to talk about that.
Yeah, we just kind of glanced right by that one.
Well, because like you forget that Thursday's part of week 1 because Thursday Night Football for some reason is the thing.
Mm-hmm.
Whatever.
This week we get to watch the Browns lose on national TV.
Chiefs Texans. I like the moment where Deshaun Watson was running and then he he ran into the Chiefs bench and then him and Patty shared a moment.
And everybody was tweeting on Twitter, "Don't show this to Bears fans."
Oh,
2 quarterbacks
Bears
they passed over to get Trubisky.
if Bears fans had lost this week, I don't think there would have been. It either would have been Bears fans or Browns fans that would have been like the most miserable. I'm gonna say Browns fans.
Man, we're used to it.
I'm gonna say Browns fans because they lost. But if they saw that picture and the Bears lost, Chicago would have been the most miserable town in football this week. But no, that stays right at home in Cleveland.
David Johnson had a good game.
He did. I would say I'm.
Yeah, you kept talking about it. You were surprised how good he was doing.
I wasn't surprised. I was more just like happy. I was gladfully pointing it out because I'm like, I don't know. I like David Johnson, and he seemed like the only player on the Texans who really came to win.
Mm-hmm.
Not that anyone else necessarily did bad. It's just he seemed hungry. I guess maybe to prove himself, being like, "Hey, I was worth the trade."
Well, on the other side of it, Clyde Edwards-Helaire. How about him, huh?
He did great. He was probably the best rookie running back of the. He's probably the best rookie run. I mean, you have again, you're like your Jonathan Taylor, and I'm trying to remember. It was the there was the rookie running back on the Jaguars, who also did really great. But not Clyde Edwards-Helaire. He kind of. I think it was James Robinson. James Robinson was the running back for the Jaguars.
Yeah, it was.
Yeah, and then so it was like Jonathan Taylor, James Robinson, but that's definitely going. Clyde Edwards-Helaire deserves all the praise that he deserves every praise that he's getting right now.
I mean, both teams played like fairly well. I think they're both going to do great this year. It's just rough for Houston having to start off playing against the Chiefs because Patty Mahomes is something different.
Do we get to talk about how the AFC South seems like really competitive?
Mm-hmm.
Do you think the AFC South is up there as maybe like not like having like the top best, but like overall being like maybe the best division kind of this Yeah, everyone seemed really good in the AFC South. What other divisions would be like that? Like the not the East. East had the Bills and the Patriots. They look good. North had the Ravens. They look good. Don't think the Steelers looked good per se. We'll get into that later. The Browns or the Bengals looked South had all four looking pretty good. The West had Raiders didn't look bad.
No,
No, I guess I mean that was a game that I only glanced at every now and then. The
yeah,
Raiders
we
Panthers.
would, like check in on that every here and there, but they seemed fine.
I got to watch. I checked out the stats of Josh Jacobs, and that's pretty good. Josh Jacobs with 3 touchdowns.
Yeah, I know. I was playing against somebody in fantasy this week who had Josh Jacobs. I was not a habit camper.
So you had so in the rushing game, aside from I mean on the other side of the ball there, Christian McCaffrey, he did great. 96 yards, 2 touchdowns, and that's just rushing. I need to check receiving.
What, like the Panthers receiving?
I'm assuming that I
didn't know he switched
I didn't
games.
see McCaffrey's stats, but he always has like a good receiving.
23 carries, 96 yards.
No, but I'm wondering his receipt like because he
Oh,
usually
receiving?
that's I'm wondering. Yeah, I'm
3
assuming that
catches, 38 yards.
yeah, like that's
He
still
was
good for
averaging
running back.
12.7 yards a catch.
Was another running back who Naheem Hines had 8 receptions, 45 yards, and a touchdown for the Colts. But yeah, no, that Panthers Raiders game was just kind of solid. I'm kind of upset that I missed it. And along with in the 2 touchdown area of rushing, you had like J.K. Dobbins, Dalvin Cook, Malcolm Brown, Peyton Barber, and Cam Newton. So I can talk
Oh
about
yeah,
Cam Newton now.
talk about Cam Newton.
He looked solid, dude. He wasn't like the greatest ever, but he did the job that he needed to.
Yeah, I mean, it was Miami, so kind of expecting it, but 15 for 19, 155 yards. That's not bad.
2 rushing touchdowns.
Yeah.
No, that shows the spark that can be there for the old Cam Newton, especially with the 2 rushing touchdowns.
It's just so weird not seeing Tom Brady play for the Patriots, man.
Oh yeah.
Everybody was thinking that they were kind of done, but they still.
And I were on, yeah.
You don't bet against New England. I haven't been betting against New England my whole life because it's a bad idea.
No, you and I actually have brains
this year. Cam Newton's a good quarterback. It's just going to be weird seeing him play in a Patriots uniform.
Yeah, we're not the smartest of guys, but at least we have like some iota of brain cells to be like, hey, don't bet against New England just yet.
Yeah. And Fitzpatrick not looking too great.
Fitzception.
I know they said that as of right now, he's their starter. That he's keeping the job. I don't know if that's going to change week by week, but I know they were saying that Fitzpatrick's in the driver's seat pretty much. So
I'm assuming they're saying that because they're like, hey, we only lost by 10 points, Despite the fact that
we only lost by 10 points away to the Patriots. That's fine.
That's probably their logic right now. Is they're focused more on like the spread of the score and less
not the
like
3 interceptions.
Yeah, they're focusing on only very specific general numbers.
I mean, other than that, like he wasn't throwing terribly.
No,
wasn't throwing great. But I mean, if you look at that stat line and you take away the 3 interceptions, that's not a terrible game. Not great, but I mean
it's very Dolphins. It's very Dolphins.
That's a Dolphins starting quarterback stat line.
Sorry, what are you trying to ask?
I said that's a very Dolphins starting quarterback stat line.
Yeah, I'd agree. I thought you were asking, like, can you get me? I'm like, no. I was confused. Like, what stat line am I getting? We didn't watch it. We watched very little of the Packers Vikings. But Aaron, like, on a stat sheet, it seemed like Aaron Rodgers had a good day with 4 touchdowns.
Mm-hmm.
And Kirk Cousins apparently did all right. I can't really comment too much on that game. We just didn't watch it.
I had like a NFL Network on a different monitor because when we watch football games, we watch as many as possible. So we're
Usually
watching like
five at once.
yeah, 5 games at once, and then I have NFL Network pulled up on my second monitor. So, so it's a
Uh,
little overwhelming. But
well, the 1 o'clock games were also even more or less balanced because both the Colts and the Browns were on at that time, so we were really focused on them.
mhm,
And that's why we could talk a lot about the Bears Lions game because it ran so late.
yeah, because we got to watch the end.
We got to watch like the last like quarter basically. Then I mean the problem with looking at the Packers Vikings stat line, just the box score of the game, is this is what happened last year. People would look at the box score of like a Packers Vikings game and be like, "Wow, the Packers looked really good," but they didn't. No, they didn't. They couldn't play 60 minutes. So I have no idea how to judge the Packers that this week. Or did they just play like half a game and then happen to like win from there? Because I'm pretty sure the Packers were destroying at one point and the Vikings were trying to come back. So
I know
I don't know.
Devontae Adams who ruined my week in fantasy.
Yeah, he did really well. He was probably like the best receiver of the week.
No, not even probably. He was absolutely.
I don't know, but there was like Julio Jones. Julio Jones did great. DeAndre Hopkins. I think we're almost done talking about the 1 o'clock games. The last one that we can't really say much about is Washington and the Eagles because we didn't watch a lick of that.
We kept like looking back at the score and we were making fun of the Washington football team because we were
It
like,
was
oh,
17 nothing.
they're down 17-0, and then at some point you were like, hey, did you check the score recently? It was like 27-17.
Yeah,
What the fuck, dude? Like, what's
the
going
Wa-
on down there?
the Washington football team is the only team in the NFC East that won.
I hate that division. I hate the division so much.
That's why we have to that's why we're rooting for the Giants in that division. Now, I guess we can talk about the
Let's
couple
try.
we can talk about the couple 4 o'clock games, which we did actually. We watched like most of that basically.
I think we watched. No, we watched all of them.
Yeah, I mean we focused primarily on the Saints Buccaneers because you're a Saints fan, but we
Hmm.
watched a good amount of the Cardinals and the Cardinals 49ers and the Chargers Bengals. I guess we'll talk Chargers Bengals. Man, they both look pretty average.
Yeah. Bengals should have won that game. I don't think that AJ Brown pass interference call was a good call.
Yeah, that's kind of iffy. That's not the only pass interference call to talk about today, but that was pretty iffy.
It's the least controversial pass interference call because, like, I mean, it was
Of the two.
of the two. It's the least controversial of the two, but I still think it was not a good call. I think the Bengals should have won that.
What about the kicker grabbing the wrong calf?
Oh my god, what a fucking moron.
He's like, "Oh,
Yeah,
hey."
so hold on, what was his fucking name? Hold on.
So he grabbed his right calf, I'm pretty sure, right? He grabbed his right
Yeah,
calf,
so
and then it was listed as left calf injury, so
yeah,
it just
so
said calves.
yeah, Randy Bullock missed the game-tying field goal and like went down to grab his calf right away. I don't know why I did that in my chair. Would articulate a point. But
You actually grabbed your calf?
yeah, I grabbed my calf.
I did the same as well.
No, but he grabs his calf and like I'm watching him like, oh well, you know, he pulled something, that's why he missed the kick. And then like a couple of minutes passed and I was like, no, dude, he didn't pull anything. He just missed the kick and he just wouldn't want people to get on his ass about it. And then he's like grabbing his left calf, I think it was, during the game. And then during the press conference after, he said that he had a cramp in his right calf. So he didn't remember which leg that he
He
hurt,
grabbed.
in air quotes. But then the next day on the Bengals injury report, they had him listed as in limited practice, calves, plural, calves.
Calves.
Just calves.
Oh, that's great.
Ugh. Nah, Bengals should have won that game.
The only other thing to talk about in that game is Joe Burrow.
Yeah. Okay.
Well, like a
Rushing
6
touchdown?
out of 6 out of 10, 7 out of 10 performance from him.
He played fine. That shovel pass interception was just
Oh
a
my
horrible
God.
fucking decision by him.
That's even worse than
Genuinely
like, one Daniel
moronic.
Jones pick, you know?
But I mean, like that's just a young quarterback.
First
Like,
game.
Yeah, first game. You know,
He
you
is
can-
he is like the rookie quarterback starting for the worst team of last year. Like he did probably as well
Mhm.
as you could expect, you know? Especially with having no Being a rookie quarterback, a starting rookie quarterback, and having no preseason to work off of, that's gonna be hard. That's gonna be awful.
Nah, AJ Green played pretty well. CJ Uzuma played pretty well. Burrow's got some stuff to work on, but I mean, he had his 20+ yard rushing touchdown,
I don't know.
first touchdown in the NFL.
They both looked like very mediocre teams. Nobody really wanted to win that game.
Bengals should have won it.
They should have.
You really should have.
Yeah, they should have. But like, I mean, I don't have much confidence in the Bengals at the moment. They at least don't look god awful.
Can't wait to watch the Bengals play this week, just because it's gonna be very telling for me how the season's gonna go.
I think really only the first half Bears, the Jets, and the Browns were the only god awful looking teams this week. Especially the Browns.
God damn it, dude! We can never have anything good.
Can't have shit in the Cleveland.
No.
At least you can't even say at least we're not Detroit, because at least they showed up to play.
Yeah. At least they scored more than 6 points. At least their only player who scored points didn't,
Get
end
injured.
up on the IR.
No, he just got ejected. Yeah, I don't think he scored, but like, man, tapping the ref with your helmet, that's an ejection, I guess.
Can't believe they fucking kicked him out of the game for that.
Jesus Christ.
Ugh.
What else is there to say about that? There's nothing else to say about that. It's stupid.
No, just
We're moving on.
ridiculous.
Cardinals
Did we
49ers.
Wait, did we talk about the Bills Jets? Or did we just
didn't
like
watch
gloss over that? We didn't watch it.
We didn't watch it yet. Josh Allen looked really good on stats.
Josh Allen looked pretty good.
Le'Veon Bell got injured. I don't know. The Bills won. There's not much else to say beyond that. I'm sorry for any Bills or Jets fans that are watching, but like we didn't watch it. We can't watch every single game. It's an unfortunate reality. We can only watch 5 games at once, and that 1 o'clock session gets crowded.
Did you
'Cause there's
just
what?
buy more TVs? There was 9 1 o'clock games.
Yeah, we can only watch 5. I don't know. We just picked the ones with closer scores. You know what I mean? Well, we picked the Colts one, we picked the Browns one, and then we picked the ones with all the closer scores.
Mm-hmm.
And also I wanted to watch the Seahawks play because I like watching the Seahawks play. They're usually interesting games. I guess we could talk about the Cardinals 49ers.
I think the one thing I like from the Bills game really quick though is just Josh Allen still being the Buffalo's leading rusher. He had 57 yards rushing. Devin Singletary only had 30.
All right, we've been talking for about half an hour, so we should probably get through most of these games. Cardinals 49ers. I'm glad the Cardinals. I predicted the Niners because of course I did, but I'm really glad the Cardinals won. They deserve that win.
Yeah, no, I'm a big fan of Kyler Murray. I'm really excited. DeAndre Hopkins had like a career good, like best day in receptions.
14 receptions, 151 yards.
God, he's gonna do so well there. If he can keep that up all season.
DeAndre Hopkins had more receptions than the entirety of the Texans last week.
Ugh.
No, I'm that defense held up pretty well. I don't know. The Cardinals are one of the most interesting teams to watch. This upcoming week.
I think they're going to be fantastic this year.
They're playing against Washington, who another team that I have no idea how to gauge them.
Yeah, no, they're looking really good.
Yeah. Not much else to say there except for then we can go to the Saints and Bucks.
God, I fucking hate Tom Brady. I'm so happy he looked like a moron the whole game.
Tom Brady, I'm pretty sure the stat line is the first one of the in the past like couple years. Like it's him, I think Blaine Gabbert. I know I'm not even I can't even remember which quarterbacks, but he's thrown pick sixes 3 games in a row, and not many quarterbacks do that. Not even famous Jameis did that.
Tom Brady threw 1 touchdown to Tampa Bay and 1 touchdown to New Orleans.
Oh, it was glorious to watch him like
2 touchdowns to Tampa.
I
think you have the clip of it, but like the first interception, as soon as Tom Brady threw it, I just started insulting him, just like over and over.
Mm-hmm.
Call him a dumb, stupid old man. What a fucking idiot.
Yeah, I
hate Tom Brady.
Well, I mean, it's not out yet, but I'm like trying to compile like our week 1 reactions like live into a video. Hopefully that won't get copyrighted.
Like our Super Bowl one.
Yeah, like the Super Bowl one.
Tom Brady with that 34.5 QBR. Let's go. The GOAT. Drew Brees didn't look super great either. Drew Brees had 18 for 30 on passing, 160 yards, 2 touchdowns. Like, it's not terrible, but like that completion percentage, man. And Michael Thomas. Michael Thomas just didn't want to show up. He only had 3 catches.
They probably just covered him real hard.
Yeah.
Uh,
Alvin Kamara didn't look too great rushing either.
no, 16
I mean,
yards. I'm pretty sure. Right?
receiving, yeah, 16 yards, 12 rushes. That's not good.
It's
Receiving,
Saquon
he
Barkley.
Alvin Kamara was 5 receptions, 51 yards receiving. He was the Saints' second best receiver. The only reason he wasn't the best is because Jared Cook caught that like 45-yard bomb.
I found the stat, by the way. It was I was gonna say Blake Bortles. I got the Blaine Gabbert part right. It was Tom Brady, Blaine Gabbert, and Matt Schaub. What's it called? Are the only only quarterbacks in NFL history to throw a pick six in 3 consecutive games. God bless. Just love to see it.
You love to see it.
That was what we said the most during that game. Is every time he got sacked,
every time Tom Brady had anything happen to him, you'll love to see it.
You love to see it because his one pick six to Janoris Jenkins. I'm pretty sure. It like just basically it mirrored. It was like the mirror image of that one of his last throw in New England against the Titans.
Mm-hmm.
Like it was like so similar. It was beautiful to watch. It was like I was enjoying that pick six and the memory of the last pick six. It was just like, whoa.
Saints look pretty all right. I mean, if they can, their offense needs a little bit of work, in my opinion. Their defense looked fine. Buccaneers, man, Tom Brady.
Yeah.
You can't bet against him. Maybe it was just a bad game.
It could have
again
been a bad game.
First game, new team, no preseason.
We're just enjoying it while we can.
Yeah, just oh god, I love making fun of him. Whenever I get the opportunity, it's gonna happen.
Yep, Rams Cowboys. We've entered Sunday night. That was not pass interference.
No.
He sold that shit.
That was just a good sell on.
Dude, he was going full fucking James Harden on that shit.
Yeah, no, fucking Jalen Ramsey flopping on that absolutely saved him that game. Cowboys should have won that game. Both teams looked,
very mediocre.
Yeah.
They both looked pretty 8-8.
Yeah,
Can we just start describing teams like that? You looked pretty 8-8.
I think I'm just gonna start describing everything like you look pretty 8-8.
You looked pretty 8-8.
Pretty
8. I got the this is not. What else is there to say for that game? I mean, Jared
Malcolm
Goff.
Brown had a good game.
Malcolm Brown did have a good game. There we go. There's a player we can. Dak Prescott
18 carries, 79 yards, 2 touchdowns. Yeah, no.
Zeke got fed, so that's good.
Did you see his new tattoo?
Yep.
His feed me tattoo, a little weird, but all right. Power to you.
Amari Cooper did well. So there was like Amari Cooper, Zeke. I mean, yeah, no, they look 8-8. They're probably gonna win their division.
Just because it's so easy to win that division.
Unless Washington comes in.
Nah, another one though. Michael Gallup wasn't pass interference. I should have won that game. That's like the only real super big thing from that game, I think.
His stats would have looked better. That's right. If he got to keep that catch.
Yeah.
He did look really good, actually. Yeah, I forgot about him. I guess we can head over to Monday night. Steelers Giants. Man, they look pretty mediocre.
I think the only good thing we had to say about the Giants is their defensive front played pretty good for the first half, and then they kind of fell apart.
I like how the Giants look, especially compared to last year. And I think I think aside from like one or two crucial things, I think Daniel Jones looked I'm not gonna call him Danny Dimes right now because he had a couple dimes to throw, but Daniel Jones he's shown a lot of improvement over last year.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's absolutely worth complimenting.
They've got potential. It's just that offensive line, man. That offensive line was playing terrible. Yeah. They were not playing good football. Because that was like one of the only games where we had like a couple of like audible, like loud reactions to watching Danny Dimes just get laid out.
Mm-hmm. Just
because they just weren't blocking anybody.
Dude, there was literally like, you remember that one where he had like, oh my god, it was just like, oh, there's too many to say where it's like there was just no blocking whatsoever, especially on that right side.
There was one screenplay out to the right where Saquon probably would have picked up an extra 20 or so yards if their tackle would have just thrown a block. Instead, he just kind of like ran up to the guy and didn't. He just like
Saquon
ran
had like
by him.
he had like he had negative receiving yards for the majority of the game.
Finished at
I mean,
60.
negative
No.
rushing yards. My bad, rushing.
Oh yeah. No, he like. Do you have the stats pulled up right now?
I could pull up his stats.
I was gonna say don't look at it right now. I just want you to guess how many carries and how many yards he had.
I'm gonna guess he had 15 carries,
Uh-huh.
and I'm gonna guess he had 15 carries and 9 yards.
15 carries, 6 yards.
Oh, I swear to
So,
God! I swear to
here's-
God, that's a guess.
Here's the scariest part. His longest rush of the night was 7 yards.
Yep, because I
He
remember
had 6 total.
there was a point where he was at 8 carries, -8 rushing yards. So that's why I'm guessing. Like, I'm guessing they doubled that because I was at like halftime.
I mean, we're just talking about the game in general, but Juju was having fun.
He was. They had that. There was that one really nice picture of him like looking at the end
I
zone
like it.
pylon. Yeah,
I like Juju. I wish I could root for Juju more, but you know, the Steelers, man,
I can root for him more.
love Juju.
Big Ben did not look good. He had a couple of good plays, like when he like that one touchdown, where he like went off his back foot, but otherwise he was overthrowing shit, and we just thought his elbow was gonna explode.
Every single time he would like stand in the pocket, we were talking about his elbow. It's like it's just gonna blow up. They showed him on the sideline wearing that goofy jacket, but it's only for your arm.
Both of those teams look like teams that could grab like the seventh wild card spot, like the new wild card spot.
Yeah,
I don't know. It'll be
probably.
interesting to see. And I guess the last game to talk about is the Titans Broncos.
That was a good game.
Yeah, that was. There were a lot of first of all, I think we should talk about Steven, my dude.
Oh yeah, no. So the first time he stepped up, you know, I was like, oh, Steven Goatzkowski, and then Goskowski is over here, you know, missing 3 field goals, 10 points. No, 3 field goals and an extra point. It's 10 points off the board.
I
The
was
game
saying
should not have been as close as it was.
that if you want to call the 2020 Colts the same as the 2019 Chargers, then I think you get to call the 2020 Titans the 2019 Colts. Because they just got he went through his Adam Vinatieri phase.
There was that crazy stat after the missed extra point, where like next gen stats in their field goal percentage model, there was like a 1 out of 105 chance that he would miss all those kicks, and then he missed another one.
He dropped from like when it came to field goal percentage, he dropped from 5th highest all time to 9th highest all time in that single game.
Jesus Christ.
I want to talk about. So Derrick Henry looked like Derrick Henry. Ryan Tannehill looked fine. Corey Davis did really well. Titans. I said it multiple times during the game. I said it last week. What do I say the Titans always do?
Play to their competition.
They play to their competition. I was right. They're gonna find a way. Their offense is doing really well. How are they gonna fuck it up? Through the kicking. God finds a way. All right. I don't even believe in this shit, but God finds a way. The football gods find a way to make them play their competition. And Drew Lock looked pretty good.
Jerry Jeudy and Noah Fant had good games. It was fun to watch. We kept giggling about Jake Butt being named Jake Butt, B-U-T-T.
Why are we laughing?
Because it's funny.
We're over 20 years.
Jake Butt had 1 catch for 0 yards.
You can't touch the butt. You get ejected if you punch the
then
butt.
then he got fucking who hit him again? Was it fucking
I'm trying to remember.
Oh my god, I should remember who fucking punched the butt.
It was Rashaan Evans.
Yeah.
He punched the butt.
He did. Got ejected. And then everybody on Twitter was calling the NFL soft. It's like he like threw a hook. It wasn't like a little bitch smack. Like he hit him.
No.
How are we still punching people with helmets on, bro? It's 2020.
I thought we established that shit doesn't work. All right. I guess that's probably enough to talk about or those games.
Yeah.
All right. I want to go through quickly a couple things that we do. So last week we made predictions, and I want to say like our rate of like who got how many right. So last week overall, we were pretty similar, right? We only had 3 differences, and that was on the that was during the Green Bay Minnesota game. You said Green Bay, I said Minnesota. The Las Vegas Carolina game, you said Las Vegas, I said Carolina, and the what was it? The Chargers games, Bengals game. I said Chargers, you said Bengals. And so you got 2 of those right, and I got 1 of those wrong. So you are currently leading me 12-11 in week 1.
Let's go.
Do you want to talk about your field goal?
Oh, my field goal predictions?
I don't think we talked about that last week. To clarify,
No, we didn't.
we do this thing. Tom is really good at predicting field goals, like right before they happen, like whether they'll either miss or hit. We didn't call like every field goal that happened this weekend, obviously, but like any field goal that we saw that we were watching, uh, I would ask him like, "Yo, is he gonna make it or not?" And then whether he get the call correct, we would say so. And how many did you get?
I was 19 for 25 on field goal predictions.
76% on the dot. Pretty good. I guess the last thing to do is just go for our predictions for next week and then end it there because I think we're nearing I think we're a little bit over an
almost
hour.
at an hour. No, we're about to hit an hour, I think.
Really?
Yeah.
I don't want these to be too long.
Yeah, we're getting close to an hour though.
I don't want it to be like 90 minutes like it was last week. Like 60, somewhere around an hour is fine.
Yeah.
So I guess week 2 games. Well, neither of us have really. We didn't focus too much on our predictions, so we're just kind of going on the spot here. So Bengals Browns. I'm gonna go Bengals.
Bengals.
All right. Giants Bears. I'm gonna go Giants.
Bears.
You saying Bears? All right, we got a difference.
Same Bears.
Rams Eagles. I'm gonna say Rams.
Rams.
Falcons Cowboys. I'm gonna say Falcons.
Falcons.
Panthers Bucks is another. I'm gonna go Panthers.
Buccaneers.
It's tough. Yeah, that's gonna go either way. Niners Jets. I'm gonna go Niners.
Yeah, Niners. I don't know why I had to think about that one.
Yeah, I was confused there for a second. Broncos Steelers. That's a tough one for me.
Broncos.
You're saying Broncos? I'm
Broncos.
Yeah. I'm gonna go Broncos as well. Jaguars Titans. I'm gonna go. Despite the fact that the Jaguars actually looked pretty good last week, I'm gonna go Titans.
Titans, just 'cause I really like Derrick Henry.
Yeah. Well, it's the same thing. Like, I love it's Derrick Henry is to you as Lamar Jackson. Like, it's a rival
Yeah,
team.
I like Lamar.
I like Derrick Henry a lot, but I can't root for him because he's a Titan, and you can't really root for Lamar that much because he's a Raven.
I root for Lamar sometimes because the Browns are never going to win that division.
Yeah, but the Colts actually have a chance. All right, Lions Packers. I'm gonna go Packers.
Packers.
Bills Dolphins. I'm gonna go Bills.
Dolphins.
Dolphins. I would not be. That could happen. Yeah, it could. But I'm gonna stick with my Bills call. Here comes a close matchup. I think Vikings Colts.
Vikings.
I'm gonna. But if I say Colts, I'm gonna jinx it. You know what? I'm gonna say Colts and watching them go 0-2. I would usually say Cardinals in Washington versus Cardinals, but I just don't know how to gauge Washington. But I'm still gonna say Cardinals.
Cardinals.
Yeah. Ravens Texans. I'm gonna go Ravens.
Ravens.
Chiefs Chargers. I'm gonna go Chiefs.
Chiefs.
Patriots Seahawks. I'm gonna go Seahawks.
Seahawks.
And Saints Raiders. I'm gonna go Saints.
Saints.
So I'll trot these down later. I'll when I'm editing, I'll re-listen to this and whatnot. But I guess that's the overall. That's week 1 of the NFL. I'm so glad football's back.
Oh yeah, no, it's the first bit of normalcy we've had in months.
My mental state is actually greatly improved because of it.
Yeah.
We got to watch like basically we watched all of Thursday night, which that's like 3 hours. We watched from like 1 o'clock to basically midnight, so that's like another 11 hours. I mean 10 hours. And then we watched we watched almost 20 hours of football last week, and I'm so happy for that.
Yeah, yesterday you said we spent too much time on this to not get paid.
Yeah. We spend way too much time watching football to not get paid for this. I mean, that's why I go to college, you know?
That's why I work.
I guess that's it for week 1, for week 1 of 5th and 10. You know how we ended it before by making an Odell joke?
Yeah.
Yeah, I wanna end it on I think, I created a new sentence.
I'll go for it.
I so I think after watching with, Tom, we went to different voice calls, right? And I hopped into another a voice call, and I said to the people there, I went, they're like, "Oh, did you just finish football?" I'm like, "Yeah, I just watched like 6 hours of football, and now I'm gonna go watch VTubers."